What's up, y'all? I'm Ray, and this is my channel, Xbox Ready, where we get on and we talk about Xbox stuff. The latest news, rumors, games, accessories, everything that's going on in the world of Xbox. I want to make sure that you are Xbox Ready. Now, last week, Microsoft released their Q2 earnings report. This is a period that covers from October through December 31st, and overall, it was not great news for their gaming division, for Xbox, pretty much down across the board in all statistical categories. Now, I was not going to talk about this, not because I wanted to ignore it or, give it the positive Xbox spin, get on here and tell you how it's actually good, that this news, and not bad. I wasn't going to talk about it because it's boring every time. It's boring talking about this stuff. Hey, take 13 to 15 minutes out of your day to go over this company's earnings report. Yeah, it's gonna be so fun. Every time I make a video about these reports, about their sales, it's boring to make, and overwhelmingly the comments are like, Ray, this shit is boring. So I wasn't gonna talk about how Xbox hardware has taken another 30% year-over-year tumble. I wasn't gonna talk about how gaming content and services are down 5%. I wasn't even gonna talk about how gaming revenue overall is down 9%. No, I wasn't gonna talk about it. But then I saw this quote from Microsoft CFO Amy Hood, where she said that gaming revenue was below expectations, driven by first-party content with impact across the platform. That made me irrationally angry in a way that I haven't been in a long time. Now, we all know what Amy is talking about here. She's talking about Call of Duty Black Ops 7, how it grossly underperformed, especially when compared to Call of Duty titles of the past. You see, usually when Activision pumps out a Call of Duty game, even if it's something like Vanguard, which everyone pretty much hated, it still manages to become like the #1 selling game of that year, if not #1 towards the top. This year, though, is different. They really needed something special out of Activision to compete with Battlefield 6 or Arc Raiders, and they just did not deliver. Or maybe they thought they were doing that, but fans overwhelmingly did not like what they were putting down with Black Ops 7. Back to Amy's comments, though. Man. Buying up all these studios and then throwing them under the bus in your earnings call is crazy work. Xbox Game Studios and the people working for those studios, and yes, that now includes studios like Treyarch, Infinity Ward, they are like the only good things that Xbox has going for them. Amy, if you're wondering why hardware sales are down, why content and services are down, why gaming revenue is down, it's time to look in the mirror at out-of-touch executives that have no idea what their fans or gamers want, these executives that are going out of their way to ruin the one product that Microsoft has made that people actually love. And I'm talking love. No one loves Windows. No one loved the Zune. No one loves Microsoft Office, not like they do Xbox. I made this channel 4 years ago, going on 5 years, and it's surged past 200,000 subscribers. That in and of itself should tell you that this is special to people. Through Xbox, people have found a community. They have made friends and connections that have lasted them for decades. And Microsoft is trying to ruin all of that. How are they ruining it? Well, let's take a look. Let's go down the list. Let's take a look at declining hardware sales. It's been like 3 straight years where we've seen nothing but declining sales percentages for Xbox consoles. It's getting to the point where the Xbox One generation, where everyone was like, that was terrible, like generationally bad. No way that they could do something as terrible as that again. It's getting to the point where I'm looking back at those numbers, I'm like, they're better than the numbers that we're seeing now in terms of hardware sales. And it all starts at the top. Microsoft had this brilliant idea to go out and buy Activision Blizzard. And they figured out very, very quick, oh man, $69 billion, that's a lot of money. We need that money back quick. We gotta make sure that all of our Xbox game studios can reach this insane profit accountability margin in order to justify their existence. Still can't get any straight answers about that, by the way. Margins that industry-wide are pretty much impossible to meet, even for the best performing games. Add on to that all of Xbox Game Studios have to put their games onto Game Pass the same day day that they launch, which it's very well known that that eats into their overall sales. So what does Microsoft decide? Let's go multi-platform. No more Xbox exclusives. Y'all gotta make the money and you gotta make it now. Let's destroy the one thing that differentiates our product from our direct competitors. Then after that, we're gonna raise the prices, not once, but twice, maybe even a third time if we feel like it. So not only are our consoles more expensive than our competitors, they fundamentally have less games, because if you go out and buy a PlayStation, you could play their library of exclusives and all of the upcoming Xbox games, pretty much. We don't know when Forza Horizon 6 is coming to PlayStation, but we know what's happening eventually. The tragedy here is that them going multi-platform, I assumed that it was gonna help with all of these money problems. Yeah, they have a bigger audience. They have a wider reach. They don't have to rely on just the Xbox player base to meet those financial goals. But even with those multi-platform releases, we're seeing this decline still. Next up, why is content and services down? Well, oh yeah, the last one true thing, the one real reason that was left standing for people to invest in the Xbox ecosystem, Xbox Game Pass, they decided for whatever reason to raise the price from $20 to $30 because they probably realized it was really crappy to their bottom line to give Call of Duty away for just $20 a month. Now, I'm not saying that Game Pass is the only reason why we're seeing these numbers. Again, I believe it's an umbrella, a ripple effect from the fallout of Call of Duty underselling, underperforming. But it certainly did not help. Looking back on it, maybe it was way too good to be true, because I guess someone at Microsoft is running the numbers and being like, guys, Game Pass is hemorrhaging us money, or even if it's not hemorrhaging money for us, we could be making so much more money if Game Pass didn't exist at all and we were just selling our games straight up. And just to add insult to injury, even if people can see past all of that, they can see past the multi-platform stuff, they can see past the inflated prices, if they could see past all of that and they still want to buy an Xbox console, Microsoft makes it so hard to find one out in the wild. So many stories in 2025 of entire retailers just dropping their Xbox console stock entirely, especially in other markets like in Europe. So many posts I see of like, I can't find an Xbox console at my local retailer, and that's a problem. And last but not least, why is gaming revenue down? Why? Well, we already discussed it. It still doesn't make me feel better. Black Ops 7. Why did I say it like that? Black Ops 7. Call of Duty brought this category down in a major way, but it still sucks that the rest of Xbox's first-party output is being lumped into that. It's easy to look at these studios or publishers as one cold, unfeeling, maybe super incompetent entity, but I've been lucky enough to get to know a lot of these guys over the course of my career as a content creator, especially the ones affiliated with Xbox Game Studios. They're hardworking people who burn with a passion to create the game they want or tell the story that they want to tell. And as much flack as Xbox has gotten about not having a freaking Spider-Man equivalent or God of War, I like the weird swings their smaller studios have been taking. Games like Pentiment, South of Midnight, Hi-Fi Rush. Sure, they weren't big hits, but good lord, in an industry that's chock full of remakes and sequels, at the very least, they were different. Microsoft rewarded them by shutting down their studios entirely or laying off so many people that those studios had to merge into other products if they were lucky. Again, this highlights the boom or bust problem that Xbox has post Activision Blizzard. I used to think that other games and studios were safe to do whatever they want, make whatever weird ass game that they want, see what happens, as long as Call of Duty kept bringing in that money like the cash cow franchise that it is. But what if the cash cow has to be put out to pasture? What if the well runs dry? What if next year's Call of Duty title performs around the same? Xbox's fate is now tied to the same machine that Activision was tied to before they were bought out. They're bound to this insane schedule where they have to release a new Call of Duty game every year while they neglect all the other awesome IP for some reason to keep the whole operation afloat. It's Xbox's curse now because they spent so much freaking time and money on acquiring the whole company. They have to make it work. They have to feed the machine. They have to come out with a Call of Duty every single year now or else the whole system collapses. Meanwhile, Through all of this, Microsoft is blowing billions on AI, trying to convince people, no, you really actually do want Copilot. You just don't realize it yet. Even a fraction of that money could have stopped so much of this frustrating ass stuff going on at Xbox from ever happening. How about instead of totally bungling your AI stuff to the point where it leads to like the second biggest stock tumble of your company's career, how about you just give a little bit of that money to Xbox and they can keep freaking Game Pass the same price? Good Lord, give it to your marketing company so they can have their like yearly Xbox Wrapped, or see if the exclusive strategy can actually work instead of giving up immediately after it didn't work out with Starfield and Redfall. Despite all of this though, there are still good people, great people working at Xbox and on their games. People who still show up to work at a company where they know that there is like an 80% chance that they're gonna be fired. They show up to work and still believe that they can make something good, because that's the truth, guys. No one takes a job, no one works on something, especially in the creative field, wanting to do bad. I don't get on here, set up my microphone, turn on all my lights and stuff and think, man, I really hope I make the worst YouTube video of all time. I want to make absolute dog shit, slop. I hope I really make a terrible YouTube video. No, I want to do good work. I try to do good work, and these developers are in the same boat. They want to make a good game. No one wants to be associated with a shitty game. There are good people, good developers at Xbox who love games just like you and me. And while I hate Microsoft, I still believe that Xbox has something to offer the industry. They still have joy to bring. I think it's absurd to throw out all of the other good work that Xbox Game Studio is doing just out the window. Like, we're not going to pretend that just, what was it, last week or a week or two ago, that we weren't all excited for Fable and Forza Horizon 6 after Developer Direct. We're just going to pretend like that didn't look fucking awesome. And you know what? Even if Xbox is down as a whole across the board in that Q2 period, October through December, are there really any surprises there besides Call of Duty flopping? None of the games that came out during that period were like major stunner blockbusters. Ninja Gaiden 4, Outer Worlds 2, Keeper. This was supposed to be a supporting cast of games meant to highlight the creativity, the diverse lineup that Xbox Game Studios can offer the industry. I do feel bad for Outer Worlds 2, especially because Obsidian just keeps being put in these positions where expectations for them are through the roof. And they're a great studio. I love their games. Like, they're not gonna deliver us the next big breakout AAA hit. That's just not what they do. They like to work on these weird, smaller experiences with more niche mechanics that appeal to a certain kind of gamer, and they're not gonna, like, ball and gun gamers are not gonna go out and buy Outer Worlds 2. It's just not happening. Those titles just can't be looked on to uplift and deliver insane sales numbers. In 2026, though, I do believe that there are games that have that potential coming out from Xbox Game Studios. Fable, Forza Horizon 6, just to name two of them. We don't know for sure if Gears E-Day is coming out this year. I'm hopeful that it is, but that's another game not named Call of Duty that I believe can deliver some really solid sales numbers, bring up games and services, maybe get some more subscriptions over on the Game Pass side. Those games have the potential. Ninja Gaiden 4, Outer Worlds 2 simply do not have that level of hype. If Xbox plays their cards right and they have one of those games for each quarter, they should be pretty stable across the year. It looks like they're going with that approach. FH6 is going to highlight that first half. Fable's going to hold down autumn, that second half of 2026. I don't even know what to say anymore. This is like crazy that Xbox has to deal with all of this crap from Microsoft. I feel like they had a really solid plan going into this generation, and so much stuff derailed that. A lot of it out of their control, right? Like the console shortage and COVID, the pandemic, all of that. But still, the plan was solid. Okay, we're gonna have, all of these studios that we bought up in the previous years, they're gonna start making exclusive bangers. Then people are gonna go buy an Xbox console. We're gonna bounce back, build our install base a little bit, build up those Game Pass numbers. I feel like if they had just a little little bit more time, if they could have held out to like 2024, where they really had a great run of first-party games release. I'm not saying that it's a guarantee that those games would have led to more console sales, but they could have at least tried. They could have at least seen where the plan led and then say, okay, you know what, that didn't work out. Let's pivot to a multi-platform strategy. Let's pivot to PC gaming, cloud gaming, focus on that stuff. Overall, though, I'm going to choose to root for the people that I've gotten to meet over my career as a content creator, the people who I know are not only cool, but competent, talented, and have that passion, that artistic passion to make something good. I feel like a lot of people want Xbox to fail. We love seeing a train wreck. I get it. But I always thought that mentality was a little bit weird, especially all of this discourse about, oh, Black Ops 7 flopping in comparison to Arc Raiders, Battlefield 6, Call of Duty is dead. That's weird. Like seeing these videos of people being like, oh, I'm so happy that Black Ops 7 is flopping. I'm so happy that people aren't playing this game. That's a weird mentality to have, man. I actually ended up meeting a guy who works on Black Ops 7, who works at Treyarch, who shall remain nameless. He goes to my gym. Had a great conversation with him, and I felt so bad because I was talking to him about Black Ops 7, and he was like, yeah, man, I'm really bummed. I've worked on every Black Ops game, and I actually, I thought my work on Black Ops 7 specifically, it was some of my best and, favorite times working on any Black Ops game ever. Listen, if you want to play Arc Raiders, Battlefield 6, play whatever game you want, but I think it's just weird when people, knowing what these developers are going through, knowing that they have to face freaking layoffs or being fired at any moment, are cheering for these games to fail. That goes for a lot of the discourse around High Guard too. Now, this does not shield studios and developers from criticism, but me personally, I'm going to choose to root for the studio's success, and I want them to succeed in spite of Microsoft. I know that's kind of a weird way of looking at it because if they succeed, they make Microsoft more money, and I hate Microsoft, but if the alternative is, oh, they don't make enough money, so Microsoft just shuts them down, I don't want that to happen, so I'm going to root for the opposite. Anyways, guys, that's all the Xbox stuff I got to talk about today. Thanks so much for joining me for another edition of Xbox Ready. If you made it this far into the video, consider subscribing, or don't. I'm not a beggar.